After 12 years together, Lewis tells me I'm going to Ferrari. Really?
Good for Lewis, good for his bank account.
If you don't perform, you're out. I control you every millimeter.
The Formula One world has been rocked by an explosive revelation ahead of the upcoming 2025 season opener. Mercedes boss Toto Wolff broke a critical promise made to Lewis Hamilton regarding his potential replacement at the team. This bombshell comes from Netflix's latest season of Drive to Survive, set for release on March 7th, 2025, where behind-the-scenes footage captured Wolff openly admitting to this betrayal. The shocking disclosure adds another layer of drama to Hamilton's February 20th, 24 announcement that he would leave Mercedes after 12 seasons to join rival team Ferrari. But what exactly was this promise? And why would breaking it cause such turmoil within the Mercedes camp? To understand the magnitude of this betrayal, we must recognize the historic partnership between Hamilton and Mercedes. When Lewis Hamilton joined the Silver Arrows in 2013, few could have predicted the unprecedented success that would follow. Under Toto Wolff's leadership, Hamilton secured 6 of his 7 world championships with Mercedes, contributing to the team's dominant run of 8 consecutive constructors' titles between 2014 and 2021. This partnership transformed Formula One's competitive landscape. Mercedes and Hamilton didn't just win championships, they rewrote the record books. Their collaboration stands as the most successful driver-team pairing in Formula One history, eclipsing even the legendary partnerships of the past. The beginning of the end for Mercedes' dominance came in dramatic fashion at the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Max Verstappen's controversial last-lap overtake on Hamilton not only secured the Dutchman's maiden world championship, but also signaled a power shift in Formula One. The devastation felt by Hamilton and Wolff that day would leave lasting scars on the team. Verstappen's victory marked the start of Red Bull's resurgence. Since that fateful race, Verstappen has claimed every driver's championship, amassing 4 consecutive titles. His dominance has effectively terrorized Mercedes, relegating the once-dominant team to playing catch-up. The pain of this defeat created ripple effects within Mercedes that we're only now beginning to fully comprehend. The intense rivalry between Hamilton and Verstappen extends beyond their battle for the 2021 championship. Their contrasting driving styles and on-track incidents generated significant tension, both on and off the circuit. Hamilton has been vocal about his rival in the past. He claimed Verstappen operated over the limit on track. Hamilton said, "I've raced a lot of drivers in my life in the 28 years. There's a few at the top which are over the limit. Rules kinda don't apply or they don't think of the rules. He's over the limit for sure. I've avoided collisions on so many occasions with the guy." Despite this criticism, Hamilton publicly maintained that he would welcome Verstappen as a teammate. "I 100% would be more than happy to race against him, Verstappen, in an equal car," Hamilton told Sky Sports in 2023. However, Hamilton's next comment revealed his true feelings about the prospect. "I don't think he wants me to be his teammate." The bombshell revelation from Drive to Survive Season 7 comes from an intimate conversation between Toto Wolff and his wife Susie at their Monaco home. The footage shows them discussing potential replacements for Hamilton following his announced departure to Ferrari. After discussing Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso as possibilities, Susie asks, "You don't think Max is an option?" Toto's responded, "I think he is. But if you win all the races in a season, I think he is. I haven't spoken to him because I promised Lewis I wouldn't talk to him, but I will have the conversation now." This casual admission reveals something profound about the dynamics within Mercedes. Despite their public portrayal of unity and openness, Hamilton had apparently secured a promise from Wolff not to pursue Verstappen as a teammate or replacement. The footage was clearly shot before Antonelli had been assigned to Hamilton's seat and showed Wolff shockingly on board with breaking a vital promise he had made to the former Mercedes lead driver. With Hamilton's Ferrari move announced, Mercedes found themselves in an unfamiliar position, needing to replace their star driver. The behind-the-scenes footage provides remarkable insight into Wolff's thought process during this critical period. Carlos Sainz emerged as an early candidate, so Carlos Sainz is somebody to look at. He's had some really good performances, Wolff noted during his conversation with Susie. Fernando Alonso was also considered, with Wolff praising his race pace, racecraft is still very good. However, Susie quickly dismissed this option, saying, "You're not going to be starting a new era with a long contract with Fernando. It's an interim." The conversation then turned to Verstappen, with Toto acknowledging the challenge of luring him away from a dominant Red Bull team. He said, "If you win all the races in a season, there's not much reason to leave." Despite this practical assessment, Wolff's determination to break his promise to Hamilton was clear. "I will have the conversation now." After Hamilton's departure announcement, Wolff wasted no time in pursuing Verstappen, despite his previous promise. The Netflix footage captures an additional meeting with Mercedes chiefs where the pursuit strategy was discussed. "It's so difficult with Max," Toto admitted from inside the Mercedes hospitality unit. "There's a 1% chance that Max changes his mind." This aggressive pursuit of Verstappen, using the power struggle at the team to try and grab the Dutchman, did not go unnoticed by Red Bull. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, was forced to field questions about Verstappen's future, even from Honda staff members. Horner's response was characteristically sharp. "I think it is purely a distraction tactic from Toto, and if he does want a Verstappen for next year, I guess Jos is potentially available," Horner said in Austria, referring to Max's father. Horner went further, questioning Wolff's motives. "A lot of noise has been made about him going elsewhere, and sometimes one just thinks that it is a distraction tactic, that it is just thrown in because you have to question, what are the motives behind that?" Despite Wolff's aggressive pursuit of Verstappen, the Dutch champion remained at Red Bull. Mercedes eventually announced 18-year-old Kimi Antonelli as Hamilton's replacement, partnering with George Russell for the 2025 season. The Drive to Survive footage even captures the moment Antonelli learns about his seat at Mercedes. The scene follows Wolff watching the Italian drive a GT3 car at Imola, where he remarked to Antonelli's father, "What did you raise? He's amazing." This decision signals Mercedes' shift toward nurturing new talent rather than poaching established stars. However, reports suggest that Wolff has not given up hopes of one day luring Verstappen to his team, indicating that this saga may continue into future seasons. The revelation of this broken promise raises fundamental questions about team dynamics at Mercedes. Why would Hamilton extract such a promise from Wolff in the first place? The answer lies in the psychological impact of the 2021 championship battle and its aftermath. Hamilton's request suggests he viewed Verstappen not merely as a rival driver, but as a potential threat to team harmony. His public claims that he would welcome Verstappen as a teammate contradict his private actions in securing this promise from Wolff. For Wolff, breaking this promise represents more than just pursuing the best available driver. It signals a potential fracture in what had been portrayed as Formula One's most successful partnership. Did Wolff's willingness to discard his promise contribute to Hamilton's decision to leave for Ferrari? The timing adds another layer of complexity. Wolff explicitly stated he would honor his promise while Hamilton remained at Mercedes. Once Hamilton announced his departure, Wolff considered the promise void. This transactional approach to relationships within the team contrasts sharply with the family-like atmosphere Mercedes has cultivated in their public image. Lewis Hamilton's much-anticipated move to the iconic Italian team has taken an unexpected turn. Recent events have cast a shadow over the 7-time world champion's debut, particularly in light of his performance compared to teammate Charles Leclerc. On February 21st, 2025, Ferrari conducted a private filming day at their Fiorano test track. This event marked the first opportunity for both Hamilton and Leclerc to drive the new SF25. Ferrari's challenger for the 2025 season. The significance of this shakedown cannot be overstated, as it represented the only running time the drivers would have with the new car before the official pre-season test in Bahrain, scheduled to begin on February 26th. According to unofficial data reported by Spanish publication Marca, Hamilton's fastest lap at Fiorano was 0.8 seconds slower than Leclerc's best time. This substantial gap has raised eyebrows across the paddock and sparked intense discussions about Hamilton's ability to adapt quickly to his new environment. It's crucial to approach these lap times with a degree of caution. The shakedown was conducted using special Pirelli tires that are not representative of those to be used during the 2025 season. Furthermore, Ferrari opted not to release an official report of the session, classifying it as a private filming day. Nevertheless, the gap between the two drivers has become a topic of significant interest in the Formula One community. This performance difference at Fiorano is not an isolated incident. It follows a pattern that emerged during a tire test in Barcelona earlier this month. On the first day of that test, Hamilton managed to outpace Leclerc by a narrow margin of 0.130 seconds. However, the tables turned dramatically on the second day, with Hamilton trailing Leclerc by an alarming 1.788 seconds. Pirelli, the tire manufacturer, emphasized that these lap times should not be given undue significance, citing the different work programs carried out by the teams during the test. A Pirelli spokesperson stated, "The published lap times carried no real significance given the different work programs carried out by Ferrari and McLaren, who were also on track at the Spanish Grand Prix venue." Despite this caveat, the consistent trend of Hamilton lagging behind Leclerc has not gone unnoticed. A report from Italian outlet Auto Racer provides additional context to the Fiorano test results. It suggests that the two Ferrari drivers were operating on separate programs during the shakedown. Leclerc, with his extensive experience at Ferrari, was able to push the car's limits immediately, even though pure performance was not the priority of his run. In contrast, Hamilton's main objective was to build confidence and gain a clearer understanding of his requirements from both the team and the car as he prepares for the upcoming season. This difference in approach could partly explain the gap in lap times, but it does not entirely alleviate concerns about Hamilton's adaptation to the Ferrari machine. The situation is further complicated by Hamilton's recent performance history. During his final season with Mercedes in 2024, the British driver struggled with one-lap pace, qualifying behind his teammate George Russell in 19 out of 24 races. This trend culminated in Hamilton's stark admission at the penultimate round of the 2024 season in Qatar, where he conceded that he is not fast anymore. These words from Hamilton, a driver who has redefined success in Formula One, sent shockwaves through the sport. They also provide context for his current struggles at Ferrari, suggesting that his difficulties may not be solely related to adapting to a new team and car. In stark contrast, Leclerc has established himself as one of the fastest qualifiers on the current Formula One grid. Since joining Ferrari in 2019, the Monegasque driver has secured an impressive 26 pole positions. This tally puts him 4 ahead of two-time world champion Fernando Alonso on the all-time list, despite Alonso's much longer career, which began in 2001. However, it's worth noting that Leclerc's pole position prowess has not always translated into race victories. To date, he has only managed to convert his qualifying performances into 8 race wins. This statistic pales in comparison to Hamilton's record-breaking 105 career victories, the most recent of which came at Spa in July 2024. The age difference between the two drivers adds another layer of intrigue to their developing rivalry. At 40 years old, Hamilton faces the challenge of competing against a teammate who is over a decade his junior. Leclerc, who will turn 28 towards the end of the 2025 season, represents the new generation of Formula One talent. Despite this significant age gap, Leclerc himself has downplayed its potential impact on their intra-team battle. When asked about whether his youth might provide an advantage over the course of a physically demanding 24-race calendar, Leclerc responded, I don't know. I don't know what it's like to be 12 years older, so it's difficult to judge. But I mean, honestly, what I've seen from Lewis is in extremely good shape, so I don't think that plays a part in it at all." Leclerc elaborated on his perspective, saying, "I think he's also extremely motivated to be starting this new adventure in his career. So I don't think age will have to do anything with what we'll see on the track." This assessment of Hamilton's physical condition aligns with the British driver's reputation for maintaining peak fitness throughout his career. However, the mental challenge of adapting to a new team environment after over a decade with Mercedes cannot be underestimated. Hamilton has openly acknowledged the difficulties he faces in acclimatizing to Ferrari's way of working. "I'm still getting used to a completely new car, a completely new way of working," he told media, including TotalMotorsport.com. This transition marks a significant departure from his previous team switch in 2013 when he moved from McLaren to Mercedes, both of which use Mercedes power units. The shift to Ferrari requires Hamilton to adapt to a different power unit, steering system, and even basic operational elements such as switch positions on the car's controls. The software systems at Ferrari also differ from what Hamilton was accustomed to at Mercedes. These technical adjustments, combined with the need to learn new terminology and development approaches specific to the Italian team, present a formidable challenge for the seven-time world champion. "I definitely have to adapt my driving style," Hamilton acknowledged, highlighting the comprehensive nature of the changes he needs to make. The geographical relocation from Mercedes' Brackley base to Ferrari's headquarters in Maranello, a distance of 853 miles, adds some complexity to Hamilton's transition. The British driver elaborated on the specific challenges he faces. He said, "The steering system presents a particular adjustment, being completely different from what I experienced at Mercedes. Basic operational elements, like switch positions on the car's controls, have required familiarization, while the software systems also differ from my previous team." Despite these challenges, Hamilton maintains an optimistic outlook. He said, "I actually feel quite good in the car, and I just take it all step by step." The 105th-time Grand Prix winner remains focused on preparing for the Australian Grand Prix, where he aims to secure his 9th pole position at the circuit. Social media reactions to reports of Hamilton's slower pace have been mixed. While some fans express worry about Hamilton's form, others caution against reading too much into early test results. One fan commented, "Man knows he's washed," while another wrote, "The whole world loves Ferrari, and we all wish that, but these are just consumer statements." A more critical user suggested, "Basically, he means he's like a second a lap slower than Charles. He's so washed." Some fans, however, took a more balanced view. One user wrote, "Typical negativity about Lewis again. Everyone knows he is getting to grips with new machinery compared to Charles, who has been there for years now." Another fan encouraged, "I expected way worse. Keep progress, Lewis." Red Bull Racing, the dominant force in Formula One for the past few years, finds itself in a precarious position as we approach the 2025 season. The team that seemed invincible not too long ago is now facing a series of challenges that could potentially derail their championship aspirations. Let's explore why things have taken a turn for the worse for the Austrian outfit. Red Bull's 2024 campaign was a roller coaster ride. The season started with a bang as Max Verstappen clinched victory in 7 of the first 10 races. The RB20 was hailed as the class of the field, and it seemed like Red Bull was set for another year of utter domination. However, as we've learned time and time again in Formula One, fortunes can change rapidly. After Verstappen's 7th win at the Spanish Grand Prix, Red Bull hit a rough patch. The team endured a shocking 10-race winless drought, a stark contrast to their early season form. This sudden drop in performance can be attributed to the car's development trajectory and some key personnel changes. One of the most significant blows to Red Bull's technical team was the departure of Adrian Newey, widely regarded as one of the greatest designers in Formula One history. Newey's move to Aston Martin sent shockwaves through the paddock, and its effects were felt almost immediately. In an interview with Auto Motor and Sport, Newey shed light on the issues plaguing Red Bull even before his departure.
I think Red Bull, from what I could see, the car was already...
This admission raises questions about the team's development direction and their ability to maintain their competitive edge without Newey's guiding hand. Newey's departure isn't an isolated incident. The team has also lost other key personnel, including influential sporting director Jonathan Wheatley and chief strategist Will Courtney. These exits have left Red Bull in a state of flux, forcing them to restructure their trackside operations for the 2025 season. Christian Horner, Red Bull's team principal, has been vocal about the challenges they faced with the RB20. He revealed that an upgrade introduced around the Imola Grand Prix made the car far more peaky in its performance, with a very narrow operating window. This characteristic made the car incredibly difficult to drive consistently, even for a driver of Verstappen's caliber. Horner explained, "When you got it into that window, the 4 straight laps in Austria, for example, that were all good enough for pole, it was very much in that window. If you stepped a millimeter either side of it, it became much more of a problematic car to drive, which Max was able to mask and drive around, And I think that's what hurt Checo Perez particularly. It's that window was so narrow. This narrow operating window not only affected the team's performance, but also highlighted the growing gap between Verstappen and his teammate, Sergio Perez. While Max could somehow extract performance from the difficult car, Perez struggled significantly, eventually leading to his replacement by Liam Lawson for the 2025 season. As Red Bull prepares for the 2025 season, their focus has shifted from outright performance gains to improving the car's drivability. Horner emphasized that the team's engineers have been working tirelessly over the winter to broaden the RB21's operating window. Horner stated, "And so I think what the engineers have been very much focused on over the winter is how you broaden that window. Not necessarily adding ultimate performance, but just broadening the window so that you've got, across the different challenges and circuits that we visit, a much wider operating window." This approach suggests that Red Bull is prioritizing consistency over peak performance, a strategy that could prove crucial in what's expected to be a highly competitive season. However, with McLaren and Ferrari making significant strides in their development programs, Red Bull's dominance is far from guaranteed. While Red Bull grapples with their immediate challenges, a potentially bigger threat looms on the horizon: the 2026 regulation changes. These new rules will bring about a significant shift in the sport's technical landscape, particularly in the power unit department. Red Bull Powertrains, the team's in-house engine division, will be tasked with developing their first Formula One power unit from scratch. This is a monumental undertaking, especially considering they'll be competing against established manufacturers like Mercedes, Ferrari, and Honda. Reports from Italian outlet Autosprint suggest that Red Bull is already facing performance and reliability concerns with their 2026 engine. The report states, "Performance and reliability concerns are emerging with the new Red Bull engine. Drawing conclusions would be premature, but it would not be a surprise if the Milton Keynes team are playing catch-up." While it's too early to draw definitive conclusions, these rumors have added to the air of uncertainty surrounding the team's long-term prospects.